nutrition. You're supporting smaller, more diverse farms. The money stays in the community and with the farmer. There's environmental benefits. And I think as Wendy, one of the things Wendy's going to talk about is agritourism, which is in large part because you get to go out and see open space. It is more seasonally available. It's not cheaper necessarily, and it's certainly less convenient. Come to the farmer's market, go to CSA, go, maybe it's the store that has the Colorado Proud food. It's not processed, so now you have to prep it. And as a lot of you know, a lot of our clients don't know how to prep to cook anymore, so it's challenging. And so I'm just going to flag real quickly some things that our speakers are going to talk about in more detail. But so we have farm to school, or farm to family, personal school gardens, and one of my colleagues in the department made me promise I would put a plug in for homegrown food. Local gardening seed swap, those from Fort Collins. This is the third year, Saturday, March 6th, 1 to 4 at Avogadro's number. There's a lot of people bring in heirloom plants and you can go and swap seeds or buy them real cheap. I went last year. They have some very interesting seeds and you get to talk to a lot of the kind of locavores in the community. So it's Saturday, March 6th, 1 to 4 p.m. at Avogadro's number. Community support agriculture. Look at this jump. In '86 there was 2 in the whole country. In the middle '90s there was 1 in Fort Collins, Happy Heart Farm on Elizabeth Street. Dennis Stinson, he was the first CSA in Colorado. There's 214 of them now in Colorado. There's 12,000 in the country. So people are buying into the CSA concept. Usually it's produce, but there are CSAs that sell meat, dairy, fruit, flowers. Farmers markets, from 94 to 2009, so in 15 years, I went from 1,700 to 5,200. And I couldn't find, I looked in your website, Wendy, I couldn't find how many we have in Colorado. I couldn't find a nice little, oh, here's the number. And I wasn't going to go through the list and add them up. But we have a lot in Colorado too, well over 100. So I got a couple pictures of farmers market. This is Ruth Inglis. Some of you know her. She's one of the ones that's doing the seed swap. I had to put, this is a CSU CSA board. So CSU, one of the CSAs in the city is if you happen to work at CSU, you can participate in this. And the full share, this is late in the summer, the full share versus the half share. So look at all we get. We split the share. And the reason we get this is because I can walk to my office and take our bags down and get it and walk back to the office. We don't have to drive anywhere. But it's like, no way could I eat that in a week. So we split it with a couple people. So this is the full share side. You go through it and pick, that list, and that's the half share side. There's fruit shares as part of it. This is Gila Farms. So we get these baskets, or little baskets. I guess we got about 8 weeks of apples, pears, and peaches for the food shares, $80. It's quite the deal. This is a picture from Grant Farms. Some of you know, Grant Farms is north of town, around 2,000 acre organic production system. Most of their money comes from selling wholesale, but they have 2,000 members in their CSA. They deliver all up and down the Front Range. They deliver into Wyoming. And the thing I wondered, okay, we have, Grant Farms, they're going to put all these other CSAs out of business. Well, it doesn't seem to be, because we have more small CSAs than we ever did in Fort Collins. And in fact, last summer, when the hail really damaged a couple of the small CSA, Grant sent down vegetables for their clients. So there's some cooperation among them. And Grant has an advantage because it's so big that they can plant, and it's spread over miles, their property. So they'll plant cauliflower in half a dozen places, so if the hail comes through and wipes out this field, well, they still have cauliflower in that field. It also cuts down the disease and pests, because when they move it around, they're moving it quite a distance from where it was grown before. Farm to School, you're going to have speakers on that. If you have this handout, these are 3 good websites to get information if you happen to work in the school system. Farm to Restaurant, and a lot of you do that. It started with Alice Waters, really, with Shape Knees. chefs collaborative, slow food. So there's lots of going on with farm to restaurant. As you know, the biggest challenge, I think, is the middleman. Getting it, the restaurants don't want to deal with 10 farmers, and the farmers can't deal with 10 restaurants. You need that middleman. Well, is there enough money in the system to make it worthwhile for that middleman? We had one here at CSU for a while, but it was always kind of subsidized by grants. And when the grants ran out, that just kind of fell apart. Farm to hospital is taking off. And there's lots of evidence that the patients like it, the staff likes it. A lot of times it's farmers markets at the hospital, but then they'll start to transition some of that food into the cafeteria. And again, some websites or resources for that. Ag and food policy councils, land use and water use should be, could be two big things for those councils to deal with. How are we going to protect the farmland and the water supply? And I'm not going to show this food guide because I knew I'd run out of time. This is my last slide, actually. The most important tools in the universe, the knife and fork. Our food choices affect our health, our family's health, our clients' health, the environment, food security, farmers' income, vitality, rural communities. So what trade-offs are we comfortable with, personally and professionally, that are going to impact the food system? And I timed that just right. Last night when I timed it, I had to pull a lot of slides because I just like 50 minutes, it was like 65. So we have some time for questions before the next speaker, and I'm going to actually stick around most of the day, so you can also ask questions at that point. She's got a mic.
Okay. I guess my question is, you talked about in the first world countries that conventional farming is the most productive, but yet we always focus on the two extremes of organic and industrial farming. Do you believe or think that we can get more production out of supporting conventional farms and deregulating, like hauling manure from our field or our feedlots into the field? Right now, you can't haul your manure across the street because someone's going to drive their BMW through it and get dirt on it, and also it kind of smells. So, I mean, right now we have to process the manure to haul it anywhere in order to do it.
Which then becomes more expensive.
Which it becomes more expensive, but also on the conventional farms, they still do, basically use a supplement of fertilizer to get the production out on top of the manure. So, I mean, do you think we should focus more on conventional farming to help us out compared to using two extremes?
Well, I do, especially in this country, because that's where we have an opportunity to make a big impact. You mentioned there's just not enough small alternative farms to take over.
Yeah.
And most of the problems come from the really large-scale operations, in my opinion, and the accumulation of manure or what have you. So if we could prop up the middle, find ways, the large scale, the subsidies go to the really big guys. So even if we just cut those subsidies, it would take away some of their advantage in the middle. That's what you're implying, I think.
Yeah.
Would have a better advantage. My class, we do tours. We toured a dairy up north of town. I won't mention the name, but they've been there for quite a few years, and the housing development's moving in. And they said 10 years from now we won't be here because we just can't stand the pressure from all the people, around complaining about the manure. Yeah, I agree, and I'm not an agriculturist. I'm a nutritionist, but I think there's a lot of opportunity for the conventional to make changes that'll make a big difference. Instead of worrying in this country or in the developed world of the small scale. I mean, I think it's great, and we have a lot of people that promote that, and I think it's something that should be promoted, but I think we'll have a bigger impact on the middle if we can do something to support them and find ways with policy or what have you to support their operations.